in the land of the living, where hope is sown, the courage. Hello and welcome back to Paranormal NL podcast, located in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. That's P&L podcast for short. I'm your host and founder, Jen Noseworthy. Thank you for tuning in to UPRN, United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans and 105.3 FM on that Gulf. For tonight's Paranormal and Pets special on UPRN P&L segment number 52. I've got a guest tonight waiting backstage from Maine, USA, who I'll bring on shortly. Now it's time to grab your favorite beverage, a few munchies, invite along your fur baby pets, and get ready for the show tonight. Paranormal NL podcast is sponsored by the Bog Team. It's a boots-on-the-ground Bog Team doing historical paranormal investigations in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. Bog Team music heard in the intro and exit is available for download on all social media and streaming music platforms. P&L podcast is on UPRN every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern with a live chat watch party. Follow P&L podcast and the Bog Team on all their socials and Linktree Paranormal NL podcast. Check out their merch and smash that subscribe button. P&L podcast believes in supporting international paranormal networking and highlighting global paranormal people, places, and things. Now let's bring on to the stage, all the way from Maine, I've got Rob Gutro. Rob, welcome.
Hi, Jen. Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Yes, thank you for being back on the show. You were previously on Paranormal NL podcast before I joined UPRN. You were on season 2, episode 14, and I think I was just on the radio then.
Yeah, that was quite a while ago, huh?
It was. It seems like a while ago. So tell all the listeners listening around the world who you are and what it is you do.
Okay, so I'm a medium, and I decided several years ago I was only going to focus on pets and communicate with pets. So I consider myself a pet medium, and I'm also a paranormal investigator, and I'm an author of 12 books, soon to be 14, because I've got 2 coming out in the next 6 months.
You've got a lot of books, Rob.
I do.
You do.
I love to write. I love to share. And my purpose in writing books for everybody is to educate people on how the paranormal works. And there's one series of books called Pets in the Afterlife, where I teach people how to look for signs from their own pets. So they don't need a medium. All they need to do is read it. It's like going to school.
Yes.
Nope. Yeah.
That's like some of the pictures behind you there, the ones that you were talking about. And I can pull up some too as we're talking. And for the folks listening, he's got a special friend here in the room with you, right, Rob?
I do. Our dog Dash is snoring softly, well, somewhat softly, next to me. He's 17 years old. He's a Dachshund Chihuahua mix. And unfortunately, he's got chronic bronchitis, like his dad. So, so he kind of snores.
Welcome on the show to you and Dash. We really appreciate having you back on. So, yeah, you're kind of a jack of all trades here. In addition now to all that, you didn't mention that you're also a bit of a scientist. Hey, that's the reason why I put some energy balls around over here next to you.
Yeah. So by trade, I'm a meteorologist. And as a meteorologist, it's important for me to try to figure out everything by science, how the paranormal works with science. So I base everything on the science of energy, because when we pass away, we have energy with us. We have physical energies, and those energies combine with our memories and our personality and the knowledge of this life that we lived. And that's really a soul.
I was just going to say that. That's what, when you say energy, isn't that what the soul is? It's us. It's our energy.
Yeah, exactly, Jen. So, and what I've learned is that we make a choice when we pass away. And that is, most of us cross over. We go to heaven or Valhalla, whatever you want to call the other side. But some do not. Some decide that they're going to stay behind because they fear the other side, or they want to stay behind for some other reason. And that
Right.
I call that a ghost. So ghost is earthbound, spirits crossed over, and there's a big difference in how they can get to people and communicate. So I explained those in my Ghosts and Spirits series of books.
Yeah, there is a big difference. When you think about people say, "Oh, their house is haunted" and whatnot, like you said, is it a ghost or is it a spirit? Is it
Mhm.
something that's seeped into the actual wood or stone of the building, or is it a residual? Like, do you talk about things like that, or believe in residuals versus an actual haunting of
I
spirit versus
do, yeah.
ghost?
Yeah, so I talk about the residual imprint of energy that people leave behind.
Right.
And that residual energy that's impressed within the walls of a building can come out when we bring in our living emotional energy, um, versus intelligent haunts, which are just actual ghosts that can communicate with you. So residuals cannot; they're just impressions from the past. But intelligent ghosts are actually ones that decided to stay put.
So, what in relation to pets? What do you think is the difference in that with pets? I mean, a lot of people might see different apparitions versus, um, you know, maybe just sensing energy.
So I've come to realize that pets are much smarter than humans will ever be, because most pets will cross over where they belong.
Right.
Very few stay behind. I've only encountered four. So, and so your pets, for everybody listening, your pets have very likely crossed over, because number one, any pets that you've had that crossed passed over before are likely there to greet them. Number two, any humans that you have in spirit are likely there to greet them, and they all encourage your new pet, your pet that just passed, to come over.
Yeah,
So
I really like that you mentioned that because we had a couple of things happen recently. We had a pet pass recently, but before they even passed, we had this thing happen where we were both sitting down, myself and my husband, and there's this door in the TV room. And on the back of it, I have all this, I guess you'd say, costume jewelry that I used to wear.
mhm.
So we were just sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden, bang, the door slams open. All the jewelry starts shaking, and we hear this big plastic ball come across the floor. And we look at each other like, WTF? Like, did you just see and hear that? But then we also saw this thing on four legs go by really fast. And to us, it was the color of our kitty that's who was really sick. And we thought, well, that can't be. He's here with us. He's alive. But then later on that night, his father said, do you know that this is the anniversary of the passing of your dog, your miniature Shetland, who was that same color? We were like, oh, we can't believe we actually forgot. And then in addition to that, it was anniversary to my grandmother's passing. So it all kind of just was really weird. And we never seen an apparition like that in our house before. I mean, we've done investigations in our house and seen like the cat ball move and had visual orbs and orbs on infrared and stuff like that. But we've never had any apparition like that come through that strong. And we thought it was our dog coming to greet our cat because they were good buddies. Our cat used to slap our dog in the butt to get him to play. So yeah, I find that really interesting. When you with all your different books and things like that, I'm sure you've heard so many different stories, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. There are certain times of the year that people should look for signs from their pets. And like you said, it's usually anniversaries. So anniversary of passing, anniversary of adoption, anniversary like birthdays, um, your birthday, their birthday, and holidays too. And and the reason pets will come around those times is because they read our emotional energy, and they know that something happened on that particular date. Um, so they want to let us know that they are around. and that's why they come around. So those were really great signs.
Yeah, we thought it was very interesting. I'm sure you've had some experiences of your own. I don't know if you want to share any of them.
Oh, sure, I've had a lot. We just lost our dachshund, who was 14 years old.
I'm sorry,
To
Bob. I know
Thank
we
you.
were talking off air about it, but I'm so sorry. I know exactly how you're feeling. We almost the same week, right? We had something happen to both of us. But tell
Mhm.
us more about your Dachshund, your wiener dog.
So the little so in the picture that you're showing there, the little black and tan guy is the guy that passed
Yeah,
away. And
oh, cutie.
so uh, on a Friday, on like August, I mean July 24th, we knew he was having trouble walking, so, and he seemed a little bloated, so we took him in for an ultrasound, and they found out that he had stage 4 cancer in 5 organs.
Oh my
And
goodness.
and within 4 days, it took him.
And you
It
weren't
par-
ready for this, right? 4 days?
no, no,
No, nobody
it
ever is.
paralyzed him, and then it shut down his ability to, use his kidneys and bladder and colon, and it was just. But we gave him the best last day because we knew we did everything that he loved to do. And if you have that opportunity, I highly recommend it. I mean,
Well, yeah, we were able to do that too. We put out, like, his favorite thing was watching the birds. So my husband went out and threw a bunch of peanuts out by the trees, and he got to watch that, before we took him to the vet, because we knew that was going to be it, right?
mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's really important to have those times with your pets.
it absolutely is. I mean, our dog Tyler couldn't walk, so we had a wagon, so we put him and our older dog in the wagon, and we took them on a walk through the neighborhood, or a ride through the neighborhood.
Oh, how cute.
We let him sit and watch the birds and squirrels, and we took him
Okay.
on a ride, took him through a drive-through so he could bark at the drive-through people like he liked to do. um, So yeah, so it was a very special day, but it was also a very somber day.
Yeah.
But he's come around in different ways since he passed. Um, just the other day, now we haven't here in Maine, we haven't had rain. We didn't have rain for 6 weeks,
Wow.
and yeah, we're in a really bad drought. And the other day, 2 days ago, I was saying to Tyler, I would really like a sign from you that, or something visible. And sure enough, unexpected rain happened. It wasn't in the forecast, unexpected rain. And I'm a meteorologist. Now, our forecasts here are not as good as they were because of all the budget cuts from the government. But um, so unexpected rain happened. We were on the road. We took a ride to do an errand with our other 2 dogs, and Jen, there was a rainbow
Oh, nice.
from Tyler. That was a sign.
Wow.
So and in terms of rainbows are usually short-term events. So you have to be going the right direction. You have to be looking in the right way. You have to be looking at the right time to see that rainbow.
You do.
So spirits will influence you to be at the right place at the right time, looking in the right direction to see a sign. They also do the same thing, like they're influencing you to be at the right place at the right time to see a pet that looks like them sometimes. So has that ever happened to you?
Yes, yeah, it has. We've had just some really, different things happen. Like, one of my guests who were on the show made a really cute kitty cat picture for me, and she made one for her dog because her dog had passed. And strangely enough, AI put my cat's toy in her dog's AI. I don't know how and why it's there, but we had that cat. The toy is a rainbow worm. He looks like a worm. And he's got 2 eyeballs, and we brought that with the jingle bells on it. And we brought that with us when he passed at the vet. That was the last thing that he saw,
Wow.
right? So, to me, that was a sign.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
Yep.
everybody sees signs differently, right?
They do, and it's all very personal, of course, but it's really about being aware. So
Right.
when earlier this summer, my friend Kenny lost his Bernese Mountain Dog, and his Bernese Mountain
Well,
Dog's name was Jackson. Now, Jackson is a
Jackson.
very unusual name. Um, so, and Bernese Mountain Dogs are not the most popular dogs by any means at all. Labrador Retrievers, German Shepherds, Poodles. I think those are the top three breeds, something like that. But I've only seen a Bernese Mountain Dog once in my life before I met Kenny, and after his dog passed, I told him, I said, "You're going to start seeing signs from Jackson," and he he was starting to text me like every other day, crazy signs from Jackson. And when I was in traffic one day, and I was supposed to call Kenny to get together later, and in front of me there was a car with a bumper sticker that says, "I love my Bernese Mountain Dog."
No.
I've never seen that,
See?
that bumper sticker before, so I called him and I said, "Hey, Kenny, got a sign from Jackson, just to
You're
let you
like,
know."
guess what?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, there are so many different signs that people can have, and I know you said you're a medium. Like, in what way do you help owners with your mediumship, or do you do that for folks, or?
I do. So I I do pet readings, and I do them by email because it takes a lot of concentration to listen to a pet, and pets will communicate. They will repeat words to me that they have heard when they were alive, or they'll show me images.
Okay.
And that's the way they primarily communicate with me. Sometimes they will give me tactile sensations, like when I'm doing readings. Cats tend to like to brush part of my face, or walk by my ankles, or jump on my lap, or something like that. But I do readings, and they take about 60 to 90 minutes, and I charge a small fee for them. Um, and I'm booked out a year, pretty much,
Wow, wow.
August 2026. Um, but when I do them by
I
email, people have them to read, anytime they want.
I think a lot more people during COVID got pets. I know here in Newfoundland, where I'm at, we do notice a increase and uptick of large breed dogs.
Mhm.
Do you find that with your mediumship that you've got a lot more people reaching out because there's just so many pets on the go?
Well, people find me from all over the world, so I do pet readings from everywhere. Actually, I did one last night from the Philippines.
Oh wow,
So
really?
yeah,
Okay.
so I've connected to so many countries. Earlier this week, I did someone from Croatia. Um, I've done Turkey, UK, Canada, of course, Mexico, um, Peru, even everywhere and anywhere you can think of in the world.
All over the world. That's right. Everybody have pets. Now, I'm sure it's not just cats and dogs. You must get a lot of other different animals, do you?
I do. I
Do
do.
you?
Rabbits have become quite popular, and I get a lot of readings for rabbits. I've done ferrets and horses. Um,
Okay.
I've done pet rats and gerbils and pet mice.
Wow.
Yeah, so all kinds of animals, and they each have the ability to convey what they've seen and what they've heard where they live. So, um, some more than others, of course. I mean, um, for instance, a border collie. There was one border collie I know that was well known to have understood 1,000 words in English.
1,000 words.
1,000 words. So I can't imagine connecting to that dog because I would never get off the computer.
Well, you know, it's funny you mentioned that because I used to have a cockatiel bird when I lived in Texas. And he was so sad when I adopted him. And I was like, what is wrong with this poor little guy? Because, you know, they usually got that thing on top of their head, right? That sticks up. So I said, well, maybe he speaks a different language. So sure enough, I started talking to him in Spanish. And he got up on the cage upside down and was swinging back and forth and put up the little thing on his head. And I thought, oh, he doesn't understand English, which is normal, right? Because, you know, if you're in a household and that household only speaks a certain language and you go in there and try to talk to that pet, they're not going to know that language, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool or just, you know, interesting.
So, and that brings up a good point, because sometimes I've done readings for pets um, that have actually spoken words in other languages. Um, and I can't remember. I can't. One dog that I was doing a reading for, and I can't remember what language this was, but the dog came through to me and he kept telling me about problems with his eyes, like he made my eyes feel sticky and dry and so forth, and
Okay.
and then he said the word um, oingwe, and I'm like,
Oink, oink.
what does that mean? So I typed it up, and I put it in the reading, and I said, your dog keeps repeating this, and I don't know what it is. And um, just I just finished the reading, and I went back and I looked at the email, and the pet parents were from South Africa, and the mother noted that sometimes they also speak in Afrikaans.
Okay.
So of course I went to Google Translate and I put that in there,
Right.
and it says eye opening.
Oh,
Like, so
okay.
at the opening of the dog's eye is where there was a lot of infection, a lot of problems. So
Right.
the dog was telling me the word in Afrikaans. So I'm learning a word from another language from a dog in spirit.
That's so interesting. I love that. Yeah, because a lot of people don't think about that, right? I
No,
mean, pets are just so intelligent. They pick up on everything, don't they?
they do. And so, and what's interesting too is that sometimes um, they will come to me before I'm supposed to do their reading, and they will influence me to do their reading. And sometimes I don't even know it. So here's an example about a cat. I think you'll love this one. Um,
Okay.
on July 2nd of this year, before I opened an email, a spirit cat gave me a sign that her mom was going to contact me for a quick reading, for a rush
Right.
reading. So
Yeah.
after dinner, I decided I was going to actually take 45 minutes of time to relax, and I watched an episode of one of my favorite shows, Supergirl, on DVD. Um, but the episode in the queue was called Valentine's Day.
Hmm.
The cat's name was Valentine, as it turned out when I opened the email to do the reading that was next
Oh.
to it. So I had to tell the pet mom, this is what happened. This was the name of the episode that I watched, and then I opened your email to find out that the cat's name was Valentine. That's not a coincidence.
That's so interesting. Now, Rob, what about like wild animals? I know a lot of people say that, oh, you know, an owl is supposed to be a bad omen, or a crow, or, you know, the classic one is a red cardinal. That's supposed to be a human
Mhm.
spirit reaching out after life. What do you say to people about those type of things?
So cats and dogs, any domesticated animal, can help influence any wild animal to behave oddly. So it doesn't really matter specifically what bird it is. Um,
Okay.
so, so they can influence robins or cardinals or blue jays or owls or anything.
You know,
But
on the
the
day
trick
our
is,
cat passed,
Mhm.
we went afterwards to watch the ocean, and ducks don't go in the ocean, right? But we went to this place, and this duckling came up and sat in front of us and wouldn't leave and was pecking on my dress. Isn't that weird?
that's really odd behavior, and that's exactly the kind of thing that
Well, the
um,
last thing we told him was, okay, you can go see the birds now. And that happened.
I, yeah, so whenever the birds or the squirrels or the rabbits in the wild behave oddly, that's how you know that your pet is influencing them, so that you will recognize that they're there in spirit.
Have you had any of that with your wiener dog lately?
No, he hasn't influenced anybody. I mean, he's only been on the other side for 29 days. But
Right.
I certainly with the other four dogs that we've had in spirit, there's been a lot over
Yeah.
the last 20 years. Oh gosh, yeah. So they're always there. And one of the other things too, for everybody listening, is that spirits will also use different numbers to let us know they're around.
Okay.
So I have five dogs in spirit. When my dog Dolly passed, she was a Weimaraner. She passed in 2020. She
Right.
was one of my heart dogs. Another devastating loss for me. She was almost 16 years old, and
Oh,
ever since she passed, every single day since she passed, she sent me a repeating number. Every single day. Yeah, she's the big gray one on the left hand side of that
beautiful
picture.
dog. Gorgeous.
Yeah, she's my girl. So she sent me a repeating number. So now all of my dogs have different repeating numbers.
Okay.
Dolly's number is 111, because she was my number one girl. Franklin, the dachshund in the middle, the red smooth one, his number is 333. He turns out he was born in March. Tyler's 555, because he was our fifth dog to pass. And we have two other dogs. Of course, they are 222 and 444. So the one that's 222 passed on February 22nd. So, and I bring that up because if your dog or cat passes on a certain date or it's their birthday, look for those numbers.
Will you look for those in like the clock and times and like on your watch and stuff like that, or
Oh,
other
there's a
places,
million places. So that's a good question, Jen.
or like on your receipt or something? You know.
Yeah, so a receipt, a license plate, in front of you. It could be a temperature. I have of course, being a meteorologist, I have a weather station in my office.
Right.
So I can't tell you the number of times that I have seen repeating numbers on my weather station, like 44.4 degrees Fahrenheit,
Okay.
you know, or whatever, 222, or any something like that. So yeah, times, temperatures, receipts, license plates, email timestamps. You'd be surprised how many times you will get a repeating number from an email timestamp when you're
Wow.
just going through your email. You go, oh my gosh! Just today I was going answering emails, and I stopped on one and I opened it up. Most of when you get a lot of spam, you'll open one up and the timestamp was 3:33 from yesterday, and I thought, oh my
Hmm.
gosh, that's Franklin's number. So he made me stop and look at that email, and that's how I
A
know.
lot of people sometimes say that the numbers have some things to do with the angels and things like that. Have you heard that before?
Yeah, they call them angel numbers. And really, what an angel number is to me is that it's a number from a spirit that they give us to let us know that they're around.
Yes. And that's a good segue into your other books. You're also a paranormal investigator, and you have several different books about investigating the paranormal spirits and ghosts.
Yes, yeah, I have. So I have two. I actually have three different series about ghosts and ghosts versus spirits. So one is ghosts versus spirits, the difference between the earthbounds and the ones that have passed over. And that series includes paranormal investigations, plus other stories like about spirits who crossed over, like my dad, who um, helped me prove to my mother and my brothers that he was at his own wake and his own funeral using a handkerchief. And it's actually in that book, Ghosts and Spirits, that you just put up. So, um, so that, yeah, so that convinced my brothers that my gift was real. Um, there's that, and the other two series are Ghosts on a Medium's Vacation, because whenever I go on vacation, my guard is down, if you will, and ghosts can get through to me. So those books, there's three in that series, and they're Ireland, England, and the Birdcage Theater. Soon to
Now,
be
the
more.
Ireland one is interesting because you've actually got on your cover and also in the book, there's you can't really see it very well here, but a shadow figure appeared to you.
Yeah, that was in the Cork City Jail in Cork County, and we were walking. The jail is now a museum, and we were on the second floor, and there were a number of ghosts in that particular place. So I happened to sense that there was a man walking in one particular corridor, and the corridor was sealed off. You couldn't, as a guest, as a visitor, you couldn't go down it. But I knew that there was a man walking around there, and I didn't see anybody, and I kept clicking my camera, my taking pictures on my phone, and I took three in sequence, and in the middle one, there was the figure of a man that was walking across the corridor.
And that's why we do three, right, Rob?
Yeah, that's why we do three.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, there's so many other books, my goodness. And let's see, Ghosts on a Medium's Vacation, the Birdcage Theater. I'll pull this one up. There we go.
Yeah, and Jen, I have to tell you that is actually me dressed as Wyatt Earp back in 1993 when I first visited Tombstone, Arizona.
Oh, wow.
That's me on the cover.
I love it. I wanted to bring up another one where you recently were at and spoke in front of a group of people. I want to say it was at Penn. Yes, here we go. You're at Pennhurst at the asylum.
It was the Pennhurst Asylum Paracon. Yeah, that was crazy. So I was invited there because of my connection with pets, and one gentleman and his wife who run the whole thing, he lost a dog, and I gave him a reading.
I was going to say, why on Pennhurst?
Yeah,
pets and Pennhurst. Okay.
So they brought me there, and then they were trying to get a speaking time for me, and it turned out I came on right before the headliner, Josh Gates.
Oh, Josh was there. I love Josh. Okay.
Yeah,
he was there in Newfoundland investigating Amelia Earhart. Yeah.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I got 25 minutes to speak about how pets communicate from the afterlife, and there were over 650 people in the tent, which was amazing.
I bet there was a lot of questions and stuff like that. Hey.
There afterward there were actually I had I went back to my tent with my books, and there was a line out the tent for hours. So I talked to a lot of people who shared their experiences. There were a lot of tears, there were a lot of hugs, there were a lot of confirmations. It was a pretty amazing experience for me.
Did you get to investigate Pennhurst yourself, or do you go with a team, or when you do investigations?
So I purposely did not want to investigate Pennhurst because I went into one of the buildings and there was enough there for me during the day. I went up to the second floor of this one particular building, and I heard a little girl scream, and there were no children at the Paracon. And I asked the the person that was escorting me, I said, "Did you hear that little girl scream?" And she said, "No, I did not. But this particular wing is the child's wing in Penhurst, and that's
Okay.
and children would scream because they couldn't be heard otherwise." So
That's soon.
I said, "Yeah, okay." And then there were a couple of other encounters in that same building, and they said, "Oh, you go on the investigations at night?" And I said, "You know what? No."
You're like, no, thanks.
Yeah, I said,
Yeah.
I just came in this building because you know, you get refreshments there, you could cool off. There's a gift shop and so forth, and I was like, I need to go to bed at night.
Right. Yeah. So you like to stick to the happy spirits, not the dark weird stuff.
Well, I do a lot. I do a lot of the darker ones that are earthbound or, you know, in trouble. But Penhurst was, because I was there for, you know, pets. I was there to communicate, you know, with pets and talk about pets. Um, I didn't want. I couldn't have all my energy expelled communicating with people that were, you know, in the asylum, because
It is
emotionally.
draining, isn't it? When you do investigations, like I'm diabetic, and whenever I talk with spirit or interact with it, whether it be spirit box or dowsing rods or something, my sugar goes sky high, even without, like, it's just nuts. So do you find it draining?
It does. Yeah. It seriously drains your physical energy and your mental energy and your
Hmm.
emotional energy.
Yes.
So, wow. So do you go on, when you go on investigations, do you take like orange juice with you, or do you
Oh
take
yeah, yeah.
insulin
My
with you?
husband's diabetic too, insulin, and yeah, we always gear up because some of the other people on our team are are diabetic. So yeah, we got to watch out.
Yeah. So that, I mean, that's a really good point. Is that so? Earthbound ghosts, spirits are also, in addition to being, you know, energy, they're also positive emotional energy, like love, faith, and hope. That's what they radiate. But earthbound ghosts, because they're tied to the earth, they're negative emotional energy. So fear, anxiety, depression, and anger. And because they're negative emotional energy, they can adversely affect people, especially people
Yes.
who have different types of chronic illnesses like asthma. Like I have asthma. Um, so um, in my new book,
I've had it. I
I
haven't talked about it on air, but I've had, when we've done some investigations, I've had some serious physical stuff happen. Like I've been scratched. I've had to go to the hospital for different stuff. It was just weird. And we always do protection and things like that, but some places are just next level and you just don't want to go back there.
yeah, I totally agree. So I'm sorry that stuff happened to you. That's
It seems like you know the old saying, when you look into paranormal, it looks back at you. It's almost like they know you. Like they'll even say welcome back. And like real intelligent ones will be like, we're so and so. If we were there before, it'll ask where that other person was when we were there before.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's kind of unnerving how intelligent spirit is.
Well, they keep the they keep the same intelligence they have when they were living, and they can, some of them can be quite manipulative. Um,
Right.
I've run into quite a few of them.
Yeah,
Um,
there's some trickster saying, "Oh, I'm only 6," and then later, yeah, no, a 6-year-old don't talk like this with this intelligence. You
no,
know?
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, I did a private investigation recently, and there were two earthbound ghosts um, that were influencing the emotions of one of the people in this couple,
Mm.
to set one against the other.
Oh wow.
And when we got there and we were doing the investigation, they told me that's what they were doing. And as it turned out, the couple was having a lot of arguments
Oh.
recently. since these two earthbounds decided to show themselves and come out. Um, so they were manipulating. They were manipulating one of the people, and they can do that because they're negative emotional energy.
Right.
So
I've heard a lot of mediums say things like that. And, being you're also, a scientist, like when you go to do an investigation, do you find it's true meteorology wise that during like a thunderstorm per se, there's more activity kicked up for you when you've investigated?
yeah, weather can absolutely enhance an investigation. So those old movies where they had a lot of lightning outside and they had active ghosts inside were really onto something, even though they probably didn't even have any idea. Um, because again, it's energy, and weather is energy. So whether it's rain, we get water energy, whether it's wind or lightning. Um, and when you think about it, lightning is over 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is hotter than the surface of the sun.
That's hot.
That's a heck of a lot of energy right there.
That's a lot.
Yeah, supercharge any dead people that decided to stay put.
Well, they always say, well, when we're talking, they'll come out and they'll say, we need energy. And we always joke around and say, okay, don't use our car battery. See that car over there? Go to that battery and come back and talk to us. And then within seconds, it'll come back, and it's all charged up and ready to chit chat,
Yeah.
Or we'll say, use that bottle of water because water is energy too. Have you heard a lot of people talk about that?
Oh yeah. So actually, I talk about that in my Ghosts and Spirits books. That water energy is a very big source of a source for ghosts. As a matter of fact, I have found that many of the towns that have the most active hauntings are either by a river, stream, by the ocean, or by a lake.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so think about that, because wherever you go, if there is a body of water, it's going to be probably much more haunted than other places.
Well, we're on an island, and there's a lot of ponds
Oh,
and rivers and streams, and there's ponds all over the place. And it seems like when we like to do just impromptu investigations out driving around, and just there's water everywhere. So this place is not only the oldest city in North America, but we got a lot of water. So I really do think it ramps stuff up.
oh yeah. I mean, you're on an island. You couldn't be on a more active spot with
Like
all
in
that
the
water.
if I take, let's see, if I move this around and take this off for a sec. Whoops. Well, on the logo here, you'll see I've got a lighthouse, your classic Kraken and all this stuff,
Yes.
because that's our coastline. That's what it looks like. We like to make fun of it and call it RDF, rain, drizzle, and fog, because that's just about usually what we get, right? So yeah, I think it really ramps up. And then when we've done investigations like in houses, if it says, "Oh, I need more energy," like we'll like sit out a bottle of water or something and we'll, here, use this, right? Or don't drain our battery, just use this or something.
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
Have you tried different things like that, like putting out other sources of energy for it to use instead of your energy from your body so you don't get drained?
Well, they actually feel free to take whatever they want. So we've like you, we've lost a lot of batteries. Um,
Yes.
whenever we go into
Yeah.
investigations, we always keep batteries outside, extra
Yeah.
batteries outside, so that we can bring them in. But yeah.
Yeah, we go through a lot of batteries too on investigations. Now, there's a couple other books that let's see, we haven't talked about. I know we talked about ghosts and spirits. There's another one, lessons learned when talking to the dead. Do you have any lessons that you want to give out to folks?
Sure. So, so that book, I wrote that book as kind of a question and answer book to the paranormal. So all things that you can think of, any kind of questions, like how do you protect yourself? How do you clean energy? Um, uh, what's the difference between a ghost and a spirit? What's the difference between how they communicate? All the different forms that earthbound ghosts can assume, whether it's ectoplasm, whether it is shadow figures, whether it is orbs, the most simple form a ghost can take. The difference, more into the differences of ghosts and spirits, like ghosts cannot actually come into your dreams. They may influence them to be bad, but spirits can come into your dreams. So that's how you know if somebody's crossed over. So yeah, lessons learned from talking to the dead is I've been told that it's probably one of the best reference guides to figuring out the paranormal, and I'm humbled to say. Um, there was one paranormal radio show host in, I think it was in Kansas, that interviewed me about this book, and he was very happy with the book, and it was a great interview. And unfortunately, he passed from a heart attack like the
Oh,
week after I was
oh
on his show.
gosh.
So
Really?
my episode never aired. Um,
Oh,
but he said that he was doing paranormal stuff for like 30 years, and he appreciated like a one stop for every question and answer he ever had.
one-stop
Um,
shop. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I can't
Yeah.
remember his name, unfortunately, but um,
Do you have any other experiences that kind of stand out in your mind, that you've had that kind of
oh
left
gosh,
a big imprint on you?
I've had a lot. My co-author, I have a co-author on my latest book, Monique Too Soon. Um,
Okay.
she is she's the only paranormal drag queen in New England. She decided during COVID in 2019 that because she couldn't perform anymore in drag, she would do drag on a paranormal investigation. Now, she's been doing investigations for 15 years, and she's a tech nerd. She knows every piece of technology you can imagine. So when she did that, the ghosts were very active. They were trying to figure her out. And
Okay.
every time she goes somewhere to do an investigation, and she does it in drag, she said the ghosts are just through the roof. So we went to Emory Estate in Weymouth, Massachusetts, and we encountered three ghosts there. And uh, one of them was there for love. One of them was sadly the victim of an accident, and the other one was a chilling, manipulative, not nice person. So people can read about that investigation there. Um, we did a follow up when we had a book signing this past January when this came out, and
Right.
the book signing was at the Hunt Memorial Library in Nashua, New Hampshire.
In New
Well,
Hampshire.
that Hunt Memorial Library, totally haunted.
What's it? What is it about libraries and being haunted? We were
Uh,
at a library in one of our cities, and it is totally haunted.
is that right?
Yes.
Did you do an overnight?
We didn't do an overnight, but we were able to talk to some of the people who work there. And our medium went in there and he came out and he was like, I couldn't even use the bathroom. He said, they wouldn't leave me alone. And
Okay.
then the people who worked there were asked him to come back in and wanted to talk to him because they both seen and heard something at the same time. And she said, did you see hear that too? He said, yeah. And we were laughing outside because they were active outside. And we, as a joke, told the spirit to go inside and talk to our medium. And it did.
Oh,
Yeah. But another paranormal investigator who works here in Newfoundland also caught some amazing EVPs there and figured out the ghost name. Yeah. So it's very interesting libraries. How
yeah.
about your library? What did you guys find?
So that book is actually coming out January 1st, 2026.
Okay.
It's part of this new series, which is called the Haunting of series,
Yeah.
where I team up with Monique, and we go into different places, and we try to figure out the hauntings and try to help them cross over for those who are stuck that want to
Okay.
cross over. Um, and
I
so
have
she,
to
what
give a shout out and say that we're certified Safe Space Alliance here and Paranormal NL podcast in our Facebook group for anybody wondering.
thank you.
That yeah. And
That's all.
yeah, Rob, tell us a little bit more about what you were saying about the haunting of Emery State.
So, well, as I said, Emory State has three different ghosts. They're from three different walks of life. And two of the ghosts that were in the Emory State did not live there. So I will tell you that. Um, but by the end of the book, you'll find out what happened to all three of them. And like I said, one of them was not a nice person. So one interesting thing, Jen, that I found is that when people cross over and become spirit on the other side, they realize what they did wrong in life, and they make amends to try and do things, to try and get forgiveness for what
We
they
get
did
that
wrong.
a lot. It says the word purgatory all the time.
Oh, well, and that's what I consider an earthbound ghost. In.
Okay.
Choosing to be an earthbound ghost is like really being in hell, and so it's hell, because you think about it, only mediums or people with equipment can hear you and interact with you. Otherwise, you live an afterlife of isolation.
Right.
You know,
And a lot of these, you say ghost versus spirit. The earthbound ones, I find a lot of them are like military who say the word, purgatory, like maybe they were in battle and feel bad. I don't know. It's hard to say, right? But we do have a big military history here in Newfoundland and
mhm.
Labrador.
Yeah, I can imagine that anybody that winds up taking a life, whether it's for a military reason or otherwise, would fear crossing over because they would fear going to a bad place. But one thing I've learned from spirit, and this is in lessons learned from talking to the dead too, is that there's no hell. There is no hell. Hell is being trapped as an earthbound ghost where you can't communicate with anybody for your entire afterlife, unless you're fortunate enough to be able to talk to a medium. But it's all love and peace and acceptance and on the other side, and that's why everybody should cross over.
Right.
A lot of people who are also very conservative in their religion are afraid to cross over because when they die, they realize they made some infractions against certain people and they stay behind. And my advice is don't do that.
Yeah.
Because paranormal investigators like us have enough to do, right?
Follow the light, right, Rob?
Yes. Like go find your pets on the other side, for gosh sakes.
Yeah, let's go back to pets again.
Okay.
Do you have anything else that you want to say about or experiences with any of your pets that you've had? Or
Sure.
experiences with others or people who've reached out to you?
Oh gosh, there's a whole bunch of things. I mean, I can talk for hours about this, but so sometimes when I do a reading, they actually give me physical signs. In one particular case, I was connecting to a cat, and then suddenly two books in my bookcase fell off the shelf, like right forward, and I knew it was a cat.
Because they like to throw things on the floor, right?
I knew it was a cat. It was a cat named Toby. Yeah. um, I did a reading 2 nights ago, and this cat told me that on the other side they met another cat, and then said the word Smoky, and I'm like, Smoky what? What does that mean? So I wrote it down, and I sent it to the woman, and she wrote me back, and she said, it's so funny that you wrote Smoky, because there was a childhood cat that we used to joke that she sounded like a 60-year-old smoker whenever she would meow. So they called her Smoky as a nickname. And
Cute.
so right in the middle of this reading with her other cat, I get the word Smoky, and I'm like, what does that mean? But Spirit knows how to communicate. So
That's
isn't that
right.
cool?
Yeah, they really do. And like you said, there's always different signs that pop up, right? Whether it be those or like we discussed earlier, numbers.
Yes. Yeah. um, there's a lot of things. You may see another pet, as I said, that looks like your pet. You may see them in shadow walking around in the house just for a split second. And excuse me. And the reason you may see them as a shadow figures are not evil. Shadow figures are just entities that don't have enough energy to appear in full color. It's really all about energy. So, so that's why they can appear as shadows. Um, for people who lost pets, you may hear a bark or meow that sounds like it's coming from a distance. If your pet liked to go on your bed with you, sometimes in the middle of the night, you may feel someone against you, whether it's like pressure. You may feel a cat walking along the end of your bed or brushing your hair with their tail or your face. Um, so my Pets in the Afterlife books have all kinds of signs like that to explain how they communicate. Um,
So lots of different signs. Do you want to start giving some shout outs on where folks can find your books and follow you on all your different socials and stuff?
Sure. I would love more social followers, and I love questions from people. So, my website is robgutro.com, Gutro, or petspirits.com, Jen, because some people can't spell my last name.
I was
Um,
wondering why you had two .coms. Now that explains it. I was
they
like,
both go to
what?
the same place.
Yeah, I figured that out too. I'm gonna throw it up here on the StreamYard, so you can keep talking there. I'll put it up
Yeah,
there.
people like to add a W to my name or throw an H in the middle of my name, and there are no W's or H's in my name. So that's why I put Pet Spirits together. So I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky and YouTube, and it's exhausting. Um, so my books are all on Amazon CA or Amazon.com or Amazon EU, wherever you are in the world, you can bring them up. They're in paperback, they're in audiobook, and also in Kindle. So you can get them any which way. And I'm humbled to say that my last 5 books hit #1 on Amazon. I
Oh,
totally humbled and blown away by that.
that's awesome!
Yeah. Um,
Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
It
that's
was
a big deal.
Pets 3 and 4, and the Birdcage Theater, The Ghosts of Ireland, um, and I can't remember what the fifth one was.
Yeah, well, you got so many books; it's hard to remember, right?
Yeah. But so, and I write my books. So every chapter is short. Every chapter has a photograph. Um, and that's because as a reader, I want to be able to envision what I'm writing about, what I'm reading. I want to know what I'm reading. So you'll see it like in the books on vacation, you'll see a picture of the actual place. Like we went into different castles and Westminster Abbey, for instance, and in different places, and you'll see a picture of these different places, and you'll get history. So that's a mixture of history and hauntings. If you like history and you like hauntings, you get both in that series. Um, but that's my dog Tyler that you're showing right there.
Yeah.
Oh, Emery Estate, of course. Emery Estate hit #1 in 2 categories. That was my newest one. So I was very humbled by that.
Yeah, everybody check out robs.com sites. There's 2 of them. You can see him down there on the ticker and follow him on all of his socials. We really appreciate having you on or back on the show. Again, it was great, sharing different stories and about all your different stuff that you have. I love all of it. Anything to do with pets, I'm all about it.
Thank
I
you, Jen. I'm
really
sorry
do
about your
enjoy
cat
it.
too.
Yes, and I'm sorry about your little wiener dog. I know it's difficult. It's not easy, is it?
Nope. So I'm sending you a big hug.
You too. I'm
Thank you.
going to pull up now some Bog Team music to listen to. We've got all kinds of different ones. We've got rock, we've got 80s, we've got all kinds. Do you have anything in particular you want to listen to?
I love 80s.
80s. Okay, let's throw up some 80s bog team music there to end this off. And thanks again for being on the show. You're listening in on UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans and 105.3 FM on that Gulf. Everybody follow Rob Gutro on all of his socials and .coms. Thank you again for being on the show. And here's some bog team.